Hey guys, welcome to the Hollywood Raw YouTube page. Make sure you drop a comment, like, subscribe.
Do all the fun things.
Follow
everything. We're here to entertain you guys.
What are you waiting for? Hurry up, let's go.
Enjoy. Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. It's Friday. I can't wait to do this rundown. Adam Glyn is on the other side. I'm Dax Holt. What's up, everybody?
How you guys doing? This is our Raw rundown where we do our top 10 stories of the week. In the middle of the week, we do an interview or we kind of talk to each other, Dax and I. We kind of catch up with what's going on in our lives or just tell some stories. And then on Fridays, we release the top 10 stories of the week. This week, actually, Dax, you know who I ran into? I didn't tell you about this. I ran into Victor Wembanyama.
No way.
Do you know who that guy is? You know who he is, right?
I have no idea.
No, seriously?
I have no idea who that is.
Now, I understand you don't know who he is. Now, I understand the audience. A lot of people probably don't know who he is. He's the 7'5". We're recording this on a Thursday. Thursday night is the NBA draft. He's going to be the number one draft pick. They're saying this guy's going to be the next LeBron James.
I saw because Robin Roberts did a whole sit down with him. Did you see him outside GMA or something?
Yeah, he did. I think he did that interview in France. But I got him at the airport coming back. Well, actually coming into the USA for the NBA draft. And this guy's going to be the first round pick. He's going to go to the San Antonio Spurs. This guy has been all eyes on him in the last 6 months. Everyone's talking about this guy. They're saying he's going to be the next LeBron James. They're saying he's going to be the next star. He's 7'5". He could dribble. He could shoot. He's, they're saying he's incredible. I get the guy at the airport. How I got him at the airport? Well, a person in his entourage posted a photo of him and posted the flight they're on. And I guess one of the autographers hit me up and says, "Hey, do you want this guy, Victor Wembanyama? He's coming into the airport." And I know the flight because the guy in his entourage posted the flight. I was like, yeah, absolutely. And it worked out to be perfect. The guy, obviously, he looks like Gumby. He looks like an avatar when you see him walking amongst regular people. It's funny so because tall. He's huge. He's 7'5", but it's also, to be there the last time he flies commercial,
that's actually a good point. You don't think about that. You're getting to see him on his last days of pre-superstardom. If someone is that big in the NBA draft and they go and they just start killing it in the NBA, yeah, this is the last time that he's going to be able to walk through an airport with not everyone knowing. You may look over and say, oh, God, that guy's really tall, but you don't know who he is. He hasn't become a household name yet. That's when it's going to be impossible for him to walk around.
I mean, the guy is 7'5", so he can't walk around. He stands out like crazy. But I got to say, there might have been 15 fans there, people in the airport. The nicest guy, no ego, just happy to be there. Just
that's because he's not a superstar yet.
I hope he doesn't change, but he was so nice, signed autographs, and his autograph is worth a lot of money, took photos with people. I mean, he kept it moving, but he signed autographs. It's just kind of chaotic with the autographers.
I want to flash forward 5 years from now and just see what he is like then.
Well, it's so funny. So I took a photo with him. I posted on my Instagram story. And then, you could check to see who checks your stories. He checked my Instagram story.
No.
So I screenshot that. So if this guy becomes huge, look who checked out my screenshot.
That's dope. That's crazy.
Look who checked out my story. So the nicest guy. But really cool. Got the interview, made Daily Mail, made some stuff. It's doing well on my YouTube. So that did well for me. But other than that, it's been kind of slowing down. All right, that's my story of the week. Do we do a review? Do we get right into the top 10?
No, let's do a review real fast. Okay. I got one ready to go. Ready straight from the halls of iTunes, or I guess I always say iTunes. It's not iTunes though. It's Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts is where I'm getting all my reviews from. So, all right, this one, let's go with, hold on, this one. Amy Walker, 52, 5 stars. My favorite podcast. I love listening to you both. This is my absolute favorite podcast. I like to put it on while I work, and it makes my workday so much easier. I have joined the Facebook group, and I love the posts and comments there too. Please keep the podcast coming. I could listen to you every day. 5 stars from me, Amy Walker. Amy mother-effing Walker. Thank you, Amy. That was dope review. Really, really appreciate that review. That was... it makes me so happy when people enjoy the podcast. I don't know what it is. Just makes me so happy inside because it makes me feel like we're not just talking to each other.
Yeah, it's it's weird about a podcast, and similar to like I do stand-up comedy. When you do stand-up comedy, you throw a joke, right? You get an instant reaction, and then when you do the podcast, we just kind of just do it. We put a lot of work into it, just be honest and trying to set things up, and with the editing, all that stuff. And then we don't hear a reaction. So when you guys give us reviews, it just kind of keeps us going. So I appreciate the reviews. It also helps out with our algorithm. So keep the reviews coming. And when you do a review, we'll actually give you a shout out and read your review live on air. As long as it's good and don't talk too much smack. But on to the top 10 stories of the week. Dax, it was a unique week. Let's start with number 10.
Number 10 is Larsa Pippen scoring half of Scottie Pippen's Chicago Bulls retirement. This was a huge story this week, mostly because there's a bunch of legal documents that came out. The Blast was the first site to report all this, but basically, they had their divorce, or they've been going through their divorce, or whatever the case is there. But she has the right to Scottie's Chicago Bulls 401k savings plan and trust.
Insane.
And that the court recognizes that Larsa, as Scottie's ex-wife, who they were married back in 1997, and then they were together for many years up until 2016, that she is legally awarded 50% of all the account balances of the plan's valuation amount closest to the date of the separation. But then what was interesting was that, as if that wasn't enough, the order also appears that Larsa is entitled to the full amount regardless of what it is currently in the accounts. So that, and then, it got weirder. The order should be interpreted as she is awarded 100% of Scottie's vested account balance. So I don't really know why. I guess this is normal in California court for couples to split up, their retirement funds, but I don't understand why she would get that much of it. But still, good for her. People have called her a gold digger and all this stuff, when, listen, you're in a marriage and, she's home taking care of the kids while you're out working. She is entitled to 50% of whatever he earned during that time. So I think if that's what she's owed, she deserves it.
Yeah, it's normal. It's common in California, unless there is a prenuptial agreement, which they actually did have a prenup. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what, exactly what was the part of the prenup.
Well, a lot of the prenup is normally, so if he had a 401k prior to their marriage, he would keep that. But a lot of time, it's whatever is earned during the marriage, that is what gets split 50-50. And people like to argue and, be all pissed off about it. But that is the situation. You can't, the house wouldn't function if she wasn't there manning the house or doing her thing. She's actually super successful now. She's got her own jewelry line. She's done, obviously, the Real Housewives of Miami. She's done a lot of stuff, but people love to dig on her, calling her a gold digger, when I'm like, dude, she kept that shit running.
Yeah, and they had 4 children. Scottie made over $100 million while playing in Chicago. I just would be curious. Scottie doesn't do many interviews about Larsa. I'm just curious about if he would be kind of outspoken a little bit about his relationship with Larsa, his thoughts on her.
I don't think he would say anything. She is actually very respectful when it comes to talking about Scottie, because she has always said, he is the father of my children. I will never say anything negative about him. And she's like, I'll take a public beating about myself, but I will never dig into him, especially in the public. And I appreciate that about her. I think that shows a lot, because she is constantly on the other end of a lot of people's attacks. And especially now that she's dating Marcus Jordan, which is obviously Michael Jordan's son, a lot of people came after her for that as well. Anyway, yeah, I have a soft spot in my heart for Larsa, just because obviously she's been on our podcast. She gave us a great interview, but I also just feel like she does get the short end of the stick a lot of times.
She has. And from my experiences of dealing with her, very cool, very nice, fun to be around. I dig her. Yeah, she's cool. It's, she has been taking the higher road. You might say, then why is this stuff out? Oh, it's because it's public record. So once you file for something,
it's court documents,
anybody can kind of look at it. Yeah, it's court documents, so you can look those up. All right, Dax, number 9.
All right, number 9, Vanderpump Rules alum Faith Stowers is setting up a fundraiser to actually sue former castmate Stassi Schroeder. Basically, if you remember, Stassi and what was our other
Kristen
friend here
Doty.
that was on the podcast? Kristen Doty. Yeah. They had this whole thing back on in the Vanderpump days that actually got them fired when they accused Faith Stowers of, what was it, robbing, or there was someone in the news that was like burglarizing local areas, and they basically called 911 and blamed it on their co-star Faith, and they ended up getting fired for it. But anyway, she is saying that Faith is saying that this book that Stassi had put out is terrible, non-factual, and ignorant. And this is a book she put out in 2002 called Off with My Head, the definitive basic bitch handbook to surviving rock bottom. But in the book, she basically talks about being fired from the show and says all this stuff. And Faith is saying, look, that stuff is not true. You're further damaging my name, and I can't deal with this. And I need this book removed from the shelves. So she's lawyering up in the attempt to get this book removed, and then any of the proceeds from the book sales that have made so far, she wants that to go to charities. But she's just saying, like, I can't handle this woman anymore. She's been after me, and my name has been ruined thanks to her. So basically, she's seeking this fundraising amount of $20,000 to get the book removed, and that's to help cover all the lawyers' fees and everything around it.
Interesting. Not good for Stassi. I mean, it just kind of brings it just reignites that fight, that gas, that that story behind Stassi's name. Stassi's a mom now, and she kind of she's still in the action. She's still in the game a little bit.
Both, I need to say that Schroeder and Doty both have publicly apologized for their actions in that situation. However, Faith is saying that they took like basically 2 steps back by her publishing this book. So that is why she's kind of going after not Kristen, but
not Kristen.
Just Stassi.
Yeah, fortunately for Kristen, she is not really listed in much of the articles besides of the past incident. But interesting play by, it's an interesting play by Faith to kind of start a GoFundMe, which kind of raises awareness about the situation. How this settles, how this plays out, I don't know. But
I don't know. It's funny. Normally, I feel like I'm like, okay, I can gauge where I think this woman would go. I don't know where it would go, because like, how do you're not going to get a book yanked? And I also feel like people talk so much crap in books and memoirs. Like, how do they get away with it? Like, do you say there's like freedom of speech, or how do you walk that line, especially as a publisher, that you're going to like, we can put stuff out there. We need to be provocative. We need to say stuff to sell books, but like, you don't want to get a lawsuit that has your book yanked. But how often do books actually get yanked from the shelves? It seems like once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah, I don't know what you could do. As far as getting the book yanked from shelves, I don't think it will. As far as the damaging to her career, it's defamation. Maybe there is a lawsuit there. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an entertainment lawyer, so I don't know. But I don't know how this one plays out. I'm curious how this ends. So we'll just stay tuned. But it's actually an interesting play by her to start a GoFundMe to raise money for the lawyers. All right, Dax,
what's interesting? Sorry. I'm on page 6 right now, like reading a story. They have a full ad running right in the middle of the page for Scientology.
Really?
I always think that's interesting. Like a full 1.5-minute ad about how great it is to be a part of Scientology and the network. And we've got this big yacht, and look at all these buildings we're opening around the world. And like, I'm surprised that it's still such a bustling empire. I don't know. I feel like, and David Miscavige is like leading the whole thing. Just shocking to me to see that.
Are you thinking about it?
A little bit.
At what point in your life you're like, you know what? I think I gotta get into Scientology.
I think it's time. I think it's time to head on in.
Is this our way to make it in the industry? I don't know. This is. I think that's what we've been struggling with. I think that's the difference maker in our careers.
Next month, when I say we just locked down an interview with Tom Cruise, that I took the pill.
Yeah. No, for sure. All right, number 8.
Number 8, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, their Spotify deal unravels after just one series. So obviously this has been a big deal in the news recently that, they had done this deal with Spotify and Archwell Audio, and they had like when they first announced this deal, it was going to be a multi-program deal for many years. And then all of a sudden, nope, it's done. They have mutually agreed to part ways and are proud of the series that they made together. And that was it. Like, we didn't hear, and this was after Meghan's debut podcast, and it was called like Archetypes, but it aired. And then I don't know if it just didn't get the buzz or what, but she had guests on there like Serena Williams, Mariah Carey, Mindy Kaling. She had like pretty huge guests, but then it just kind of all ended. And Bill Simmons was talking about it. He's the Spotify head of podcast innovation and monetization, but he called them grifters.
What does that mean, by the way?
I have no idea what is grifters. I don't know.
You're looking it up?
Yeah, I'm going to look it up right now.
But I was going to say, why are you looking that up?
He blasted them, so it must be, let's see, the definition of grifter: a person who swindles you by means of deception or fraud. Oh, shit.
Whoa, that's a tough word. That's a big word.
Dang. I didn't know what it meant.
We didn't know the meaning.
So he called them fraudsters, I guess, which is really interesting. That's not what you want to be called by Bill Simmons, by all people. But anyway, he basically said that, he had this long Zoom call with Harry one night and talked about everything. He's like, it is the most juicy story that I need to tell one day. And now I'm really interested to hearing the story of what happened on his Zoom call with Prince Harry back in the day. Anyway, and I know that they still have their Netflix deal. What was that other Dior? She was supposed to do a brand collaboration.
I think Dior basically said that that rumor was not true. The
Correct.
Dior thing was not going on. Yeah.
So that was a big deal, because she could have been potentially pocketing $20 million being the face of Dior, because you've got people like, was it Scarlett Johansson? No. Who else did Dior? I know Johnny Depp did. There was someone else really famous that did Dior, but they got huge paychecks. She was rumored to be doing something, and Dior came out and said, nope, we're not working with her. It's crazy how the tides have shifted for these two people. Like, 2 years ago, they were on top of the world, and now it just seems like the rug just keeps getting pulled out from underneath them every step of the way.
You start to wonder if this is strategy for Harry and Meghan to make themselves like more in the storyline.
No way.
Or this is just we're finding out who they really are, what kind of people they are to work with.
I think, unfortunately, it's the latter of that, because these two would not want to be trashed constantly in the media. No way.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
It's crazy for Bill Simmons to kind of publicly, who was in the conversation, bringing them to Spotify. He was in the conversation. Part of the reason why they came to Spotify, for him to publicly trash them and say, listen, call them grifters. And now we know the meaning of grifters, but it's pretty, that's tough. And it sounds very real. It sounds very genuine coming from Bill about his experience from dealing with Harry and Meghan. Again, another blow to the Harry and Meghan.
I'm telling you, if I thought back 2 years ago when they were like walking the beaches of Australia and like the world was going nuts over them, like, I did not think we'd be here.
It's
what a fall from
I don't even know if it's sad, because you're starting to be able, sometimes it's not the car, it's the driver. But again, another punch to the gut.
I go back to, who is doing their publicity? Like, how is it going so poorly every step of the way?
Even if you're doing their PR, there's only so much you could do. Like when we had Lizzie Grumman on, you can't really lie. So I think at the end of the day, it comes down to them.
Yeah,
it's not easy. If you're, you can put lipstick on dog shit. It's still dog shit. So it's there's not much you could do there. At the end of the day, it was up to them to show up and do their job or be active while working.
I still feel as a PR specialist or like a crisis PR, someone has to get in there and go, stop everything that you're doing. Like, every move that you're making is a bad move. So like, we need to rebrand you guys. Like, take everything that you think you know about publicity and throw it out the window, and we need to restructure everything that there is about you, because it's not working with the public. You've got all these people disliking you around the world, and designers are distancing themselves because people don't like you, and all of that. Like, you got to turn it around somehow.
Yeah,
and It's wild.
It's frustrating. It really is frustrating because I don't want to see people suffer, but yet again, they're digging their own ditch or grave, as you say. All right, Dax, number 7.
John Goodman showing off major weight loss, which this is awesome for this guy. So he's 71 now. He appeared at the 62nd Monte Carlo Television Festival a couple days ago, and he has shed so much weight. He looks unbelievable. He started working on his health back in 2007. He stopped drinking back then, and he said that he told People magazine that he had lost 100 pounds after cutting out the booze, hiring a health coach, and giving up sugar and working out 6 days a week. And he just looks like a completely different person. He says it takes a lot of creative energy to sit on your ass and figure out what you're going to eat next. I wanted to live better, and he has done it. So he just stopped eating all the time. He said he'd have like a handful of food, and it would go into his mouth, and he just kept eating all the time. And it was almost like being addicted to food in his old days. He said he took 3 months out. He lost 60 to 70 pounds, and he would reward himself with a 6-pack of Bud or whatever to just, kind of feel good. But he looks unbelievable. I love stories like this when you see someone and you can see it in their face that they're like happy and they're confident and they're like, I did what I set out to do.
Yeah. He looks great. I mean, he really looks great. John Goodman, by the way, I'm not surprised, but again, I was surprised when I met him that he was really nice. And when I met him, I put him on camera to blast him and try to ask questions, but also was a really nice guy. I was a little intimidated because I just didn't think he'd be into it. I still don't think he's into it, but he respects it and he understands it. Really nice guy. And actually, it's funny. The first time I met him, he was outside the London Hotel in New York City, and he was doing a junket. And he'd come out like every 45 minutes and smoke a cigarette. And he came out, and there was like 3 fans there. And he goes, "Hey guys, let me just smoke a cigarette, and then I'll sign autographs and do whatever you want." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem."
So here's the question: when he's smoking the cigarette, is he smoking it by himself, not talking to anyone, or he's smoking it and talking to you, and then was like, okay, now I'll give you in the interview once the cigarette's down?
We gave him his space and time, and probably about it sounds to get more specific, he's about like 90 feet away, and he'd smoke a cigarette by himself. We gave him space and give him like a second to relax. Everyone just kind of chilled, and then he came to, and then he was like, "All right, what can you guys want autographs, photos? Yeah, sure. You want an interview?" And it was nice. He was cool and just a very pleasant guy. And I was a little surprised because, for something in my head, I don't know. Would you think that John Goodman was like going to be cool about it, a nice guy? And
well, nothing screams to me that he's a dickhead.
Sure, I agree. I just thought he was such an actor that he's not about that part of the business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like hearing when people are nice, so that's cool.
Yeah, me too. But nice guy, happy for him. He looks great. I mean, he actually looks. You could still recognize him, but he just looks healthy. But I'm glad he's in a good spot. All right, number 6.
Number 6, huge news. Britney Spears posted that she went and actually visited her sister Jamie Lynn Spears on the set of Zoe. Is it Zoe 102? I did not see this coming. Yeah. I was going to say Zoe 1.2. I was like, what the hell was it called again?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Britney posted all these like videos of her on vacation with, her manager Cade and her husband Sam. And then she posted, like, it's not a picture of her and Jamie, but she just kind of put it in the comments section. She said, it was nice to visit my sister on set last week. I've missed you guys so much. Loyal girls stay home, but it's nice to visit family. She wrote in the caption area. And then, just kind of glossed over it. I'm like, holy shit. Like, this comes a couple weeks after her mom showing up on her doorstep. We saw Lynn fly out to California. She drove and she was at Britney's house for 30 minutes, I guess, trying to rekindle and just get back in the good graces with each other. And then next thing you know, she's showing up to her sister's work set, which is crazy because she railed on Jamie Lynn Spears over the last couple years, I guess, after the conservatorship ended, basically saying you chose the wrong side. You stood by the people who made my life hell, aka mom and dad, and now you wrote a book and you're basically selling me out in the book and all kinds of stuff. And now, I mean, listen, I love that Britney is mending things with her family. That I could not think there's anything more positive than that. I think that no matter what you think of that family, there are aspects of the conservatorship that were 100% necessary to save Britney Spears' life. Britney would be dead right now if there wasn't a conservatorship put in place all those years ago. And so I like seeing that she's mending those, wounds, and they'll get back together at some point.
Yeah. Britney unfollowed her sister on Instagram, which is the ultimate, I've had enough. But it's nice to see them kind of get back together. I would say we'd love to see Britney back out there. I think we all do, but I think we want a healthy Britney back out there.
I don't think she's going to be performing. She's not going to. It's not going to happen.
No. I think
she's
the most
too happy being off stage now.
Yeah, but I think you're right. The most important thing is we want to see her back with her family at first. We want to see her back with her mom, because I just remember, when she was coming up, how close she was with her family. It was such a team, and to see them not together, it's sad. And I just don't know if we'll ever get the truth, because it's so personal and there's so much there. There's so many layers.
Well, I think there's that. I think there's, in all reality, I think there's some mental illness in there that needs to be factored into that as well. I mean, so I think there's a lot of things playing into all of the dynamics here. And at the end of the day, I want Britney to be good. I want her to be healthy. I want her to be successful, all of that stuff, and I want her to get off Instagram a little bit. And because I feel like she had to disable comments because she posts crazy stuff. And sometimes you're just like, just stop posting. I don't want people to keep talking shit on you.
Yeah. I mean, she did post when everything was going down with Jamie Lynn. She did post, I think it was on Twitter. She said that all I know is I love you unconditionally. So at the end of the day, she always loved her sister. It's just good to see them kind of hanging, speaking, be involved in each other's life. Where this story goes with Britney, I mean, we'll follow next week, because I'm sure she'll probably be in the top 10.
That is the one thing that Britney is an overshare, and in some regards, it's a good thing, because we know that she's hanging out with her family. You know what I'm saying? Like she's sharing all these random details about her life, and we have something to talk about thanks to her Instagram.
Number 5.
Avril Lavigne and Tyga break up. This was a full 3 months, and now it's all done. But according to one of the sources close to the singer, she's going to be keeping that $80,000 necklace that he gifted her. So if you remember back in, late February, the two of them started hanging out. This was right after her and Maud's son were engaged, and then he kind of just got dumped very quickly when she started hanging out with Tyga. They were doing fashion week in Europe together, and then and they said, oh no, we're just friends, and next thing you know, they're kissing and hanging out at Nobu. And then he gifted her this $80,000 piece of jewelry, which it says Avril, and I want to say it's in diamonds, black and what's normal color diamond? White diamond.
I guess
white diamond.
Diamond. I thought diamond's just diamond, but yeah,
diamond. So just diamond and then black diamonds. And so yeah, it sounds like they are done and moving on with their lives. And I feel bad for Maud's son in this whole situation. The dude lost his fiance, and now he is just alone, and she's alone.
I'm just more curious where Tyga goes from here. I mean, he's been with a lot of celebrity women. I would never have guessed that Avril Lavigne would have been on his radar and I'm going to kind of date her. But they were together. I mean, they were walking on the beach. They were, there's a photo of them making out outside a restaurant. There's a photo of them walking on the beach. I don't know. It's Tyga.
That was such an unusual couple. I never saw that one coming. That was weird.
Very unusual couple. But Avril Lavigne, I'm curious where they both go from here.
She likes the punk rock guys. And that's why I didn't Tyga doesn't seem like her style. And then same with the other way around. Like, I just didn't see Avril being his style. I don't know. So whatever.
I thought it was good for business for a little bit, but long term, it wasn't good for business.
Yeah.
I think that's ultimately what it came down to. Said, you know what, Tyga, for what he does, for the genre he sticks to, maybe not this is the best fit. For Avril, again, for her audience, it was a fun fling. Good for them. I hope they had a good time. But I'm curious where they go from here. Who's the next celebrity each from date? Because it's going to happen. It's in their track record. All right, number 4.
Number 4 is so this week was the big debut of Pharrell Williams' Louis Vuitton runway show. And I don't know if you were living under a rock and didn't hear about this one, but I feel like my entire Instagram feed was filled up with photos and videos from the, I guess it's the spring summer 2024 presentation that would happen. And it was huge. Everyone showed up to this. There was A$AP Rocky and Rihanna and Beyonce and Zendaya and Michelle Williams. I mean, Kim Kardashian was there. Everyone showed up to this thing. And it's making a lot of news because this is their first show since Virgil Abloh passed away. Or this is their first show, right?
Yeah.
Did I get that wrong? I don't remember. But it is definitely Pharrell's first show.
Pharrell's, yeah.
As now like the head of, what is his title again?
He's the creative director of Louis Vuitton. He was named back in February, taking over the position of Virgil Abloh, who passed away.
So this was a big deal, and all of Pharrell's family and friends were there to support him. His clothes look like a lot of like Minecraft, like. It's like that Minecraft blocky design where it's camouflage, but block camouflage. It actually looks kind of cool. I don't hate on it.
I thought the cool part what Pharrell did is like towards the end of the show, he brought all the other designers with him. So I thought he got to like showcase like, hey, you guys walk, not just me, but everyone kind of come out and walk and show off what you did in your I thought that was a really nice thing. As far as the turnout goes, they had so many celebs there. So many videos came from it. When I mean videos, it flooded the TikTok and Instagram algorithm of that, for that day when that fashion show came out. Jay-Z actually performed, and you know how rare it is to see Jay-Z perform these days. I mean, it feels like to see Jay-Z perform, he just does these random after fashion shows. And I wonder how much he got paid to do that.
Damn, must got paid so much.
I mean,
you know what I thought was interesting? I always think fashion shows are funny on how like the dynamics work, like who gets to sit in front row and who sits next to who. Like that to me, I like the dynamics of it, because when I saw Kim Kardashian was there, I was like, "Ooh, did they sit her next to Beyonce?" Nope, they sat her. She was next to who was it? Jared Leto. They sat her next to Jared Leto. Beyonce was right next to Zendaya, and then next to them were like the owners of the whole brand. So I don't remember his name as that rich billionaire guy, but he's sitting next to Jay-Z. Anyway, I love the dynamics of it. And I also think Beyonce, if she could sit by anyone there, it would have been Michelle Williams. But she doesn't even get to sit next to her best friend because it's all politics at fashion shows. And they sat Michelle somewhere else.
Interesting. It's funny how people, Dax, have you been to a fashion show?
I went to maybe one a long time ago, but it was more of a show, and it was called like Fashion Rocks. It was like put on by VH1 or something or whatever.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I've been to quite a few fashion shows, at least in New York City, because they have the New York Fashion Week, and they make such a big deal about this stuff. And it's all these characters outside, and they're just fake. I don't say fake models, but sort of like everyone's just like weird stuff. There's a bunch of photographers who you don't even know who they work for. People who say they're models, but I don't think they really are models, just wearing, or even people that are stylists and designers just wearing their stuff out there, trying to get their stuff out. So I guess I get the hustle aspect of it. But a fashion show, they're not long. They're very quick. Especially, I don't know how long this Louis Vuitton fashion show was, but for the average fashion show, it's like 2 songs. They're not long at all. Maybe 12 minutes. They're quick. They're and it's like all this work goes into that really. A big production goes into a very quick show. So, but I wish I was there. I actually saw a TikTok video of a guy who dressed very flamboyant. He walked in, he snuck into the fashion show. He basically dressed very flamboyant, walked in with the creative team, and no one stopped him, and then basically ended up like schmoozing with LeBron James.
That literally sounds like something you would do.
Oh, I would do that in a second. I don't know if I have a flamboyant enough outfit. I would just make something up. I would like, I've sneak into a lot of events. I'm not gonna lie, but that's the fun part about it. It's not fun when you get kicked out, which that's happened to me before, or when they don't let you in. But I've had a pretty good success rate. That's part of how I got into this industry is sneaking into
sometimes
events.
You just got to act like you know where you're at and what you're doing. Have confidence doing what you're doing, and people won't ask questions.
True. All right, number 3.
Amanda Bynes detained by LAPD, and this comes 3 months after her reported psychiatric hold. TMZ got a bunch of photos of her in handcuffs. She was intercepted by LAPD officers on Saturday morning after a call came in for a woman who was in distress. I guess that woman being Amanda Bynes, and then she was taken to the police station where a bunch of professional medical units were standing by to check her out to determine if she needed further treatment. I'm just sad, dude. I'm sad with this whole Amanda Bynes story. Every time we got to talk about it, she is so talented. Like, this woman is one of the most talented people in Hollywood, and it kills me to see how much she struggles with her mental health. And thinking back like 3 months ago when she was roaming the streets of LA naked and then put on the 5150 hold, and she was doing so well. She was out of the conservatorship. She was going to fashion school. She had essentially turned her life around, and now it seems like it's just not happening. And I hate that every story that is published about Amanda Bynes is her involving cops or 5150 hold. Like, I want that story of her doing her own runway fashion show. I want her to be back on top, and we haven't got there yet.
Mental health is a serious issue. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Sometimes in this industry, you feel that people take advantage of the word mental health for their own career. Sometimes it's an excuse. Sometimes it's a way to kind of escalate them. Sometimes it's a way to get them in more brands. But when you think of the Amanda Bynes situation, it's like, obviously this is a serious mental health issue. This is stuff going on, and it's sad because, again, like you said, she's so talented, and it's not like she's trying to get, she wasn't trying to get back into the acting game. This is not something she's trying to use to her advantage. There's something clearly wrong here. I mean, everyone wants to see a comeback story.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while. It's going to be a long time. And what's she going to, and it's not even like her trying to come back to the industry. You just want to see her looking healthy, good, and just, I want to hear her story, but you want to hear her story when she's in a good state.
Yeah, so one of the eyewitnesses, I guess, told TMZ that she was calm during the interaction with cops and looked defeated as they dealt with her. They were told that she was placed back on one of the 3 cruisers when they arrived to her location. And they said it was unclear if she was escorted out of her home or she was just found on the street there. And that, I guess, they didn't know if she was taken to the hospital for a full-blown 5150 hold or she was released by LAPD. I think they were working on finding out some more details on that detention, essentially. So, oh man, I want us to have a good story on Amanda Bynes next, but not sure that's going to happen.
Not anytime soon. I think we're just hoping for the best right now. Number 2,
Tori Spelling and McDermott. Their relationship drama continues. So this week, really weird thing, but it seemed like Tori and Dean were in a really good place. Like they were celebrating their daughter's birthday, and they were in one of the Beverly Hills hotels, and taking photos together, and all seemed really, really good. And then suddenly he posts up on his Instagram page, basically that they were getting a divorce. And so he said, it is with great sadness and a very, very heavy heart that after 18 years together and 5 amazing children that Tori Spelling and I have, and he tagged her, by the way, Tori Spelling and I have decided to go our separate ways and start the journey on our own. We will continue to work together as loving parents and guide and love our children through this difficult time. We ask that you all respect our privacy as we take time to surround our family with love and work our way through this. Thank you all for the support and kindness. Then deleted the post. Like, she never put anything up. He posted that. All the blogs and websites started picking it up, saying that they're done, they're divorcing. then he just mysteriously deleted that. And then sources that are close to, I guess, the couple are saying, no. They've never been more in love than they are right now. We don't understand what's happening. Like, they seem super great together. There was a report saying that they had like a big blowout fight. And then he posted that in response to their fight. But everyone around them is just kind of like, wait, what the hell just happened? So I don't know they've had a really rocky relationship for many, many years. Their relationship started with them cheating on their respective marriages at the time. And then they both got divorces, got together, had kids. And it's just been up and down. He cheated on her very publicly, and she kind of took him back. They had all their reality show, a lot of their dramas together. And then over the last couple of years, it's just been a little bit rocky. And so no one was super surprised to see the divorce announcement. But I don't get it.
Yeah. It's weird. I was with Tori a few months back, and she was so great. She was so nice. And she goes, hey, let's take a photo and send it to Dean. And, Dean always talks so highly about her because I talked to him not too long ago. So I don't know what's going on there. Obviously, there's always been some weird things going on back and forth. But again, I just know I saw Tori last, and she seems like she was great. First of all, so nice, so cool. It's my first time kind of really hanging out with her. But she was like, hey, let's take a photo and send it to Dean. I was like, yeah, let's do that. But surprise. I don't know what's going on. I don't think anybody knows what's going on. It's always just been some very weird thing going on there as far as with them, and maybe there's someone within their camps that's leaking stuff. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts that go into my head.
Yeah.
I don't have any insight on this, but definitely weird. All right, Dax, the number one story of the week.
Number one story of the week, Kim and Croy. Just kidding. They didn't make the list this week. Woo-hoo! All right. Number one story is obviously BB Rexa. This was a very, very viral video this week when someone at her New York City concert, chucked a phone at her during her last performance right before she was headed off stage, hit her right in the eye, and she had to go. She basically crumpled to the floor and then went to the hospital afterwards, got a couple stitches. She did end up posting on social media that she said, "I'm good," which obviously is the title of her song. But she's got a nasty black eye. You can see that her eye is all puffy and gnarly. And then what was interesting, like a day later, Ava Max some fan ran up and jumped and slapped her across the face during one of her concerts. So I don't know what's happening, why all these singers are being assaulted on stage right now. That needs to knock that shit off. But yeah, she's good, but that video, I swear, like I would see it all over social media. Then I would get to the gym, and it's like literally on every TV at the gym, everyone was playing this clip of the cell phone being chucked. Anyway, the fan who threw it was arrested and charged with assault, aggravated harassment, attempted assault, and harassment with his alleged stunt. Apparently, he thought it would be funny. That was like his whole thing was, he goes, I was trying to see if I could hit her with the phone at the end of the show because I thought it would be funny, is what the criminal complaint says that the guy said.
That his statement's funny. I mean, it's terrible.
It's just so dumb. Like, what? Like, yeah. You thought it'd be funny to chuck your phone at a singer on stage, you idiot.
Well, you know what it is? It's sometimes like people, it's
they don't think.
A lot of shows. Well, they don't think, but they're throwing their phones on hoping that the person takes a selfie with their phone. I don't know. Like, what part was he thinking of? Like, I don't understand. It wasn't a toss. There's a toss and there's a throw. Mm-hmm. So the guy is a luxury dog kennel worker from New Jersey, and he was immediately removed by security from the venue while he was called names by his fellow concert goers. I don't know. The guy's name's out there now, so good luck getting a gig, or you're now in the Google
Nicholas
search.
Malvagna. Good luck, bro. You look like a douche to everyone around you.
But if you want to listen to the podcast, we appreciate a review. So it's we're always looking for new listeners, and you sound pretty crazy. So it's just our audience. Thank you guys for listening to the Raw Rundown. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're on it all. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for that. Like and subscribe. We also have a private Facebook group called Off the Record. You should join it. You'll see why it's worth it when you join it. It's just a really cool community. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.